Side note though, guys, that happened in there. I got tattooed today. For the first time since the pandemic. It was on my ribs. It was a cover-up of a cover-up of a cover-up of a scar. Yeah, that was the right number of cover-ups. I had to count there. But it's beautifully done. I'll post a picture to our Instagram stories. Maybe I'll post it to my Instagram stories, not the podcast stories. But I'm really proud of this piece. My artist and I designed it together, and it's a really powerful piece for me. And yeah, I had a really emotional day, and then Ryan and I had date day, which was awesome. We got to actually go out and spend time together for the first time in almost a year and a half. Like, just us alone, none of the animals, no kid, no other adults that were, like, traveling with us, just, like, us. And it was absolutely magical. All we did was run errands and walk around town, and babe, it was so nice to just spend time with you and just be with you.
I agree 100% with that. You make dealing with people a lot more enjoyable.
Okay, but to get back on topic, babe, let's talk about our case today. It is a historical mystery that I chose. One, because I love conspiracy theories, and you love conspiracy theories.
I do love a good conspiracy theory.
Two, we're both total history buffs, which we already covered. And three, I thought another missing persons, plural persons.
A missing colony, maybe?
A missing colony, maybe? But I thought another missing persons case, yes, maybe missing colony, would help before the next brutal murder we have with next week's guest, who is going to be coming in cold, and it is our friend Ashley. She is our staff photographer. We love her so much. I told her today that we call her that, and she was like, that is hysterical. Can I have an employee badge?
Sure, we'll even give you the retractable little thingy.
Oh, she totally want a thing. She'll use it for her con. This case is straight out of the 1580s, a whole ass long time ago. To place you in history, this is during the reign of Queen Elizabeth I, during the time of Shakespeare, shit in the streets, the Black Plague, and a whole metric crap ton of wars. So, babe, what do you know about Roanoke colony?
I am familiar with something. They left some sort of stone around, which is why they're more popular than the fucking first one.
Yeah, part of that is that, well, the whole of that, I don't know why I said the part of that. The Roanoke colony was colonized by the British twice. First in 1585 and then in 1587, which is something most people don't know. But babe, you know, which I didn't know before researching this. And I thought was really interesting because Ryan's right. I actually didn't know about the Dare Stones either before researching this. I thought I knew everything about Roanoke, but like I was like, Oh yeah, they like disappeared, and like most people think it was just the one colony though. So it was settled 23 years before Jamestown and the first 13 colonies that later formed the eastern seaboard. British explorers had been making voyages across the Atlantic since around 1497, but had not seriously considered colonization until the 1580s. A settlement in the New World meant a midway base for privateers that were getting all their loot back from pirates, or, well, most of the loot. The cost of getting their loot back from pirates meant that the privateers kept some of the loot for themselves. They were semi-legal pirates.
The privateers were semi-legal pirates?
Yeah. It was taxes. Finders, keepers, losers, weepers, right? Marine salvage.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
I know it was, in reality, probably mostly shitty and utterly terrifying, but to me, the woman who has read herself many romance novels about pirates, in the Regency and Victorian era specifically, and has a thing for a hot guy in a dashing hat on a boat. It sounds easy to romanticize. Hammock under the stars on warm nights, and below decks when it rains. Up in the crow's nest, staring at bajillions of stars. I know it involves way more scurvy than that, but man, I want to live on a boat! Anyways, back to England. Queen Elizabeth is there, considering a colony in the New World, to get her shit back from pirates like the adorable scamps they were. And she is eyeing her main man, Sir Walter Raleigh, mostly because he was hot and she liked his butt, because my man's was not even a tiny bit qualified. But he was her boyfriend, so obvi pick, babe, that's how you got this job.
I'm aware. That's how I get a lot of my jobs. They're like, yo, what are your pant size? And I'm like, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, you have the job. Can you walk? I'm like, yes.
Are you saying that you have BDE?
I have BBE. Big butt energy.
I thought it was bubble butt energy.
No. This shit's rock hard over here.
Let's be honest, Ryan, you a big booty hoe.
Yeah.
So the thing is that Queen Elizabeth's dude, Sir Walter Raleigh, isn't allowed to actually leave her side to go to the New World. She keeps him close at hand in her court, and he orchestrates everything from England. Really badly. Like, so badly he eventually gets beheaded for it. In 1584, he sends the first mission over that finds what is eventually called Roanoke Island, off the shore of modern-day North Carolina. Raleigh sends out Captain Arthur Barlow and Captain Philip Amadas, while Raleigh stays behind at the Queen's beck and call. The scouting party gets back a couple months later and says that they found an island and brings back 2 indigenous men. The scouting party gets back a couple months later, and they say they found this island. And it's got everything they need to start a colony, right? And they bring back these 2 indigenous men who live there, whom they befriended, aka kidnapped. All's well, right? The Queen gives Raleigh a patent for the territory, which means that no one is allowed to sail there, which I had to look up. I didn't know what that means. I was like, patent leather? patent pending. I was like, what does that mean? It means that he was able to gather all the tax on wines shipped through the region, and that no one could sail to the New World without his permission.
He had the rights to the land and the taxes to it
that
were collected from it. Yeah,
and I thought that was really interesting. But Raleigh gets ordered to stay with Queen Elizabeth again, and he is pissed with a capital P. He has to appoint his cousin, Sir Richard Granville, to be the general, and Sir Ralph Lane to be the governor of the fort. On April 9th...
What a round of names.
I know, right?
Even for Britain in this time period,
I can do it in better voices. Hold on. Sir Richard Granville to be general, and Sir Ralph Lane to be the governor of the fort. On April 9th, 1585, super late, the fleet sets out via the West Indies, and all 600 men were veterans of wars. Not even halfway through the journey, the fleet is separated by a massive storm, and the lead boat, the Tiger, has to stop in Puerto Rico for repairs. But it's the 1500s. They have no way to communicate this. So they get separated in the storm. They have no idea if they're gonna meet up. But it's the 1500s, okay? They don't even have walkie-talkies. They get separated in this hurricane. They can't see each other. They get sent different directions. All of the boats except the Tiger are managed to stay together, and they head towards the New World once they get figured out. And the Tiger has to head towards Puerto Rico for repairs. When the Tiger shows up late as fuck to the party, the rest of the boats are already there, and they have to anchor super far off coast because they are huge boats. Even for the time. Imagine
being those guys on the other ships, though, being hum-de-dum-de-dum, singing your shanty or whatever, doing your thing about the day, and then on the horizon, oh, look, a ship! They're like, that's a fucking ghost ship! And then they're like, it's the fucking Tiger, because they thought it was gone or dead or something, and then all of a sudden it's just hello! You're picturing it now, aren't you? Yeah,
I totally am. Before they can offload the cargo of the Tiger, because not only do they have to anchor super far off coast because they're huge, there is the added problem that the Outer Banks of what is now North Carolina, but Roanoke Island, but then Virginia, they're really shallow, which wasn't communicated to them by the scouting party, so they have to anchor over a mile offshore. They had to row that in a rowboat. Before they can offload the cargo of the Tiger, it gets caught in yet another storm, and they lose half of their cargo. This is super devastating right out of the gate for the first colony. They think that it isn't that big of a deal, though. They learn that it's devastating later.
As is with most mistakes.
Yeah. They think that it isn't that big of a deal that they arrive so late in the growing season because they have this year's worth of provisions, right, to tide them over until the first resupply. And then all of a sudden, it's gone. And they are left with dread and uncertainty. So there's immediately compounding issue after added issue after added issue. The island is constantly being being bombarded by storm after storm, and these storms are ranging from mild rain to massive squalls that can take down a ship. Plus, the shores are super shallow, like I said, and they have to anchor over a mile offshore, like I said. But